Welcome, Joanna. It's a pleasure to have you at our podcast Supernova. It's really a pleasure to have you here and talk about presence today.
Hi, Montse. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
Thank you. I will introduce yourself a bit for those who don't have the pleasure to know you yet. And I would love to say that you are a transformational coach, among other things, that you work one on one and also with teams, and that your purpose is to connect people and organizations to their highest potential through presence, which is the main topic that we will be discussing today. And I know that your coaching practice is based on three pillars: discovering awareness, dialogue, and presence. And today the focus will be on that last one. And I would love to quote Joseph Campbell when he says, "In the cave, you will find your treasure." And I feel you believe that the journey creates a hero, and you invite others to travel with presence. And I would love to start by asking you, what is presence and why is it so important?
Mm, yeah. Oh, thank you so much for everything that you just presented, and it was nice to listen to that. I wasn't really present. How does it sound about myself hearing all of that? And I really feel that presence has changed my life, and the awareness about it really put my life on a different line. And before I step into explaining anything or introducing more, I think that something that we really start every day or every time that I'm creating my workshops with teams or having conversations with my clients, we start from grounding ourselves in presence. So let's have a 2-3 minutes of grounding for myself, for you, and for everybody else who's listening to us as a little practice that everybody can start every day. So I see you've got this beautiful view behind your back. I'm also sitting outside in the garden, and whenever other people who are listening to us are sitting, it's just a good moment to get connected with self. So you can close your eyes or have them open and feel your body in the chair. And as you're sitting in a chair, also feel how the chair is holding you, how it's carrying your body. You can feel the back of the chair holding your back. Feel your feet on the ground. Maybe even you can sense the energy of the earth coming through the ground, through your feet, into your body. And pay your attention to your breath coming in, feeling you with oxygen, with energy. And going out, taking anything that you don't need anymore from your body. And focus your attention on a few conscious breaths in and out. And you can really feel like the breath is caressing you from the inside. And maybe you even feel the connection with yourself through breath. Just notice. And as you're consciously breathing, you may also hear different sounds around you. The sounds that are very near, the sounds that are from far away. and yet still you can hear them somewhere in your space. You can feel the air on your skin. You can sense the clothes on your skin. Different clothes may be touching you in a different way, different materials. And as you are consciously breathing and being in touch and awareness about everything that's happening around you, ask yourself a question: how are you today? How am I today? What's very alive in me in this moment? Maybe it's a feeling, maybe emotion, maybe there are some thoughts. And knowing that and anchoring yourself in yourself and in the world, you can slowly come back to here and now, open your eyes. And I'm curious, you said it's a dialogue, so I want to ask you, how was it for you, Montse? You know it because we had the opportunity to do it before, but how was it today?
Wow, I just love this feeling of connecting to myself and being grounded and just being with me and with you right now and nature.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and this is exactly what presence is. You gave the three very important parameters of presence: connected with yourself, connected with the person or whatever is in front of you, because it can be a person, it can be a task, it can be a job to do, assignment, and the nature and the bigger scene where we are operating. And when we are connected with all of that at the same time, this is being aware that we are connected with all of that at the same time, in the same time. It's really beautiful feeling and sensation. What Alan Seal, the man who has invented transformational presence and put it together as a way of living, way of being, also a practice for coaches and leaders, he said that being present is to show up in the aware way. So when we get deeper with it, it's exactly what we've been doing. Like when I'm aware where I am right now, where I am, what are the feelings inside of me, then I've got a choice, because showing up somehow assumes you've got a choice. You can choose how do you want to show up in the world in a way that is coherent with yourself, with what is in front of you, and also what is around you. Like it can be nature, it can be corporation, it can be important meeting and many people. So to show up in a conscious way is to be able to choose in the moment. This is what presence really means to me as well.
Mhm. And it feels like it's something so easy and natural in a way that we all like are have it when we're born. So but somehow we get a bit disconnected on the way. But before we go into that maybe disconnection, I would love to know for you what are the benefits of doing this exercise and remembering to be present and practicing it daily.
Mm-hmm. You said something very important, that as children, when we are born, we are connected. We are connected with self, we are connected with everything around. And through the process of growing up, most of the time we are getting more and more detached. And depending on what happened on the way, we are more detached. Some people are less detached, or they come back to connection again.
Yeah.
Um, Again, um, I'd love to invite to a little practice that will tell us about the benefit of being present, because there is one very fun foundational, I would say, mechanism that create this detachment. And so I let myself invite all of us into short experience to notice how we are getting detached and how we can be attached or connected again. And that tells a lot about presence as a practice. So for this practice, it's good to choose something in your life that is present right now, maybe something that is challenging, some task to solve, to do, or a relationship that needs closer attention, that it's not very going that smoothly, something that's challenging in the moment. So whoever is listening to us, but also for myself and for you, let's connect with that something, that topic. I will call it a topic or challenge throughout the conversation, so it's easier for all of us to know. And whatever it is, whatever nature it has, whether it's a relationship or task or assignment or challenge, start fixing it and repairing it like you really, really wanted to make it happen. Like you really wanted to do it well to achieve the result. So with your topic, you can push it a little bit. You can, a little manipulation wouldn't do bad. It's just you want to achieve your goal. This is the point. And you can imagine what does it take from you really to achieve it, to fix it, to make it well, to do it on time, to do it the way you want. And right now, just pay attention. What do you feel inside of you when you approach this topic that way? You may notice how your body feels. How is your breath? How deep? What is the pace of your breath? Just notice what happens inside of you when you push to do something, to make it happen. Also, how do you feel with yourself doing that? And keep it for a little while so you can really sense it and feel it. Okay, so then you can release and really take a big breath, cleaning out your space. And having the same challenge, the same topic, whether it's a relationship or assignment or task. In this part of the exploration, be very curious of what is really in front of you. You may notice and perceive your topic as a partner, like it was a living and breathing partner. Also assuming that this partner has its own essence, its own way of being, and some information for you. So if you wanted to listen to this topic really carefully, or paying attention, what is the message that my topic, my challenge, want to tell me, about our relationship, about maybe what makes it slightly difficult or challenging. So first you may look at your topic, at your partner from the distance and see what's there. What am I seeing? What are the information that are getting my attention? What I maybe see from the distance that I cannot see when I'm entangled in it. And what I see about the topic itself, and what I see about myself in relationship to it. And don't try to fix anything, don't try to push anything, just gather the information. And maybe you even have some information that are not very comfortable to see, and that's also fine. It's very daring to be able to see that and accept it and take it, receive it. And then you can come closer to your topic and sense the partnership, how it is when you really feel it's a breathing and living partner, that you can get more information, attention, messages. Maybe you can dive even deep inside of it. What are the sensations that I feel when I'm really connected with my challenge, with my topic? What am I learning? Maybe what is the wisdom in the difficulty that I'm experiencing, if there are any difficulties or challenges? If there is a learning for me, what is it? And just notice, how is it to partner with your challenge, with your topic? What's the energy inside of your body? What are the feelings, sensations, breath, tension in your body when you approach your topic in a partnership way? And when you notice what has changed maybe, or what other valuable information that your partner has for you, just be aware of that and slowly come back to our common space. So I'm curious, like, what does it bring about presence, Montse, your experience? And like, what does it mean to be present? What are the benefits?
For me, in this case, I feel it's been a powerful exercise of really feeling connected to myself and at the same time detached to this challenging situation, so I can observe it from a different perspective, with many perspectives, and learn about it. So I feel that instead of focusing on the drama of the situation itself, or like living it in that way, I could focus more on what is the opportunity and grow. Like I felt I could see something different just from being connected to myself and present. I could see something.
Yeah, yeah. And I love how you said about the drama and possibilities that are happening when you are present. I think this is the benefit of being present, one of the biggest benefits. Then when we are present, this is what I sense very deeply. When I'm present, I always learn something, no matter how hard or difficult is the situation. So when I see there is no learning for me, that's maybe I'm not present enough. This is my sign of saying, am I really present? Because when I'm judging, when I'm pushing, when I feel tension in myself, this is the signal for me I'm not present. So the benefit of being present is, to me at least, I can see that way from the drama, how the drama is actually nearly ultimately becoming an opportunity, a way to learn, a way to understand more. And I love that moment when when I'm caught up in a drama, and we are all caught up in a drama, even no matter how present we are, because of how we are constructed as human beings. We are just grabbed by whatever happens, and then, what's going on right now? Am I really present with my topic? Am I really partnering? Am I really learning? Am I even open for it? Because sometimes it is really difficult to be open if we are caught up in our old patterns. So being present, the benefit of being present is really monitoring yourself over and over and over about that way of whether I'm able to choose. Because the greatest benefit of being present is that you are able to choose. You see that there are some things that are easier to choose or more difficult to choose, and yet you can see them. You can work on them if it needed. When we are not present, we don't see opportunities most of the time. We are maybe complaining, maybe caught up in a drama, um, just feeling bad instead of really pausing for a moment. Okay, where I am, what's going on right now? So yeah, this is one of the benefits that I'm seeing very clearly and very strongly.
Mhm. And I understand then this has to become a practice. It's not that, oh, now I'm present and I'll be present forever. It's remembering to go back to presence. And I would love to connect this idea to the journey that I was commenting on when I was introducing yourself, using the quote of Joseph Campbell of "In the cave you will find your treasure." And well, I said that you believe that the journey creates a hero, and I would love if you can tell a bit more about this concept of the hero, the journey, the cave, for those who don't know about it, and how presence plays a role in that journey.
Yeah, I love Joseph Campbell and this and his way of presenting our life as a journey of the hero. And the first thing that caught my attention when you asked this question is that presence at the first place let us see that we are the hero of our life. I think many people that are not connected with themselves, they forget that they are heroes of their own life. They give the power over to other people, like without even discussing it. And then they're unhappy because their life is not as they wish. And I think this is the first step of the hero, just to acknowledge that you are the hero of your life, whether you want it or not. It's just when you give it over to somebody, it is much harder to be happy in your life. And even the journey, and the journey sometimes is really, it can be really hard. And I myself, like for the last 5 years, I had one of the hardest journey of my life. Like separating from my husband and just having a lot of different turbulences in my family. And I think that transformational presence really, I don't know how to say it even, like really allowed me to see this in the right proportion, so I could feel that this is something that is my way, and I not like complaining, oh my God, this or this happened to me, but rather like, wow, so what can I learn from that? Why even that happened for me? Because it means that something was needed in my system. There is something that I love saying, that in life, we often don't receive what we want, but what we need. And this is a big difference. We would like to have something, but we receive something else. And being able to accept it, this is part of the hero's journey. It's like, wow, so this is the thing I'm not liking at all. I see the message and I don't like it at all, because this message tells me something that I don't like about myself, and I'm fighting with myself and I'm having bad time with myself. And really be humble enough to see, aha, so this is the message. So this is the learning. So this is something I need to pay attention to. This is like learning from our life, the most valuable things. one of the American spiritual teachers, Carolyn Miss, said once that we have this tendency of be offended with the teacher instead of learning the lesson. So the hero's journey is all about that. Whatever happens, it brings something valuable. So stepping into the cave, I mean, the darker the cave, the more scary the cave, the greater the treasure that's in it. And Alan says exactly the same way. Like the bigger the drama, the bigger the opportunity. And that sounds maybe crazy, but in the drama, there is so much of our energy that's negative that if we just transform it through the question, like, who do I choose to be in that moment? This is the hero's question. How do I want to approach it? Who do I choose to be? Maybe I need to be courageous. Maybe I need to be humble. Maybe I need to be one who listens really the messages to be able to make a step forward. Then everything shifts. And it's not like it shifts and it's very easy. Sometimes it's not easy at all. Sometimes we are in the midst of the drama and yet we are heroes. We are midst of the real, because drama is not exactly what happens to us, is our attitude to what happens to us. So sitting in something very difficult can be the greatest experience of transformation, of the inside journey of becoming a hero for yourself, like really accepting, aha, so this is my life. So this is that I need to understand. And it can be equally painful as rewarding. And I think there is no growing without those moments, without the caves, without the things that we face. And they're very difficult. And they require a lot of humbleness to be able to see them, to accept them, to not to fight with them, but to learn from them. That I would say it's a transformational way based on presence.
Yeah. And you exactly said that when we are not present, we might feel that we are not learning. So that could be a sign of not being present. So
Mhm.
if we identify that, how can we go back to presence? What are your go-to strategies or tips that you can share for those who want to go back to that state of presence?
Mhm. So, oh, thank you for the question. I I try to sense it in myself. How is it for me on a daily basis? Because there are moments that I said happen very naturally where I caught up by the drama or caught up by the situation, and the first reaction is "Rah!" Completely different than presence. And this is our right, human right to to respond, to react, that we have very naturally built in our system, which is connected with protection. And then the next moment can be a choice. And actually, what we learn in transformational presence and through presence is that after we experience this, whatever reaction happens, there is this moment, okay, I see that. Here I can pause and get connected with myself with a question, what is it asking me of, or who is it asking me to be? Because the question, who is it asking me to be, it's a pivotal question that really shifts the whole context. And then when you see, okay, so what have I chosen before? I've chosen to be a victim, as I always do, and I don't want it anymore. I can choose to be a hero. I can choose to be a humble one. I can choose to be a listening one. What does it take from me? What does it mean for me? And the thing is, when we think of transformational presence and presence in general, is that it is not possible to be present without connection with what's outside, in front of us, around us, because our presence is strictly connected with it. So whatever happens outside, it's inviting me to something. It's inviting me to a different way of being, um, or to some way of responding to that. And this switch that you ask about, like how to become more present in these difficult moments, is to really acknowledge that whatever happens around me is actually already an indication for me how to proceed, how to move forward. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, it's that what I felt when we did the first exercise today, where I felt connected to myself, to you, and also the surrounding. And I got this, yeah, I can observe that how this outer world also is telling me something, that it's in
Mm.
my inner world. So this kind of dialogue that can happen.
And this is only possible, really only possible when we are present, because then our attention is much more open and we can see that we are not the center of the world. And or we are center and there are some things around us, but they are not important. We feel connected. We are something bigger altogether, and everything matters. And every single thing has information. I love work of Arno Mindell as well. He was one who really got this. He passed away 2 months ago, and I believe that I would be able to go for one of his workshops. He was the guy who really completely believed, and all his life was about it. And he was also quantum physicist and process therapist. That life is talking all the time from everywhere, and he was picking up those messages, connecting with them, and learning from them. And this is the way he was working with the biggest conflicts in the world. So there is something so important about being present. He calls it clear consciousness. If we have this clear consciousness, then we are able to be more organic with the world and with ourselves, not really pushing, not demanding them much, but through listening, knowing what is an answer that serves both me, the world, and everything around. And I really love that way of being,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is beautiful to hear, not that easy to practice, because it really requires practice, as you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and talking about environment and also kind of creating this dialogue, not only with what's going on inside, also observing the outside. So today we're in nature, outside, having this conversation. And I wanted to ask you, what is your opinion on how nature can help or play a role in developing this presence that we're talking about?
I love this question about nature because also I believe that in presence, nature has a very big role. First, because it's a great teacher of things that we have forgotten as humans, like cycles, like really respecting cycles. The nature does it so graciously. Like there are cycles of seasons. When the seasons are changing, the nature is never complaining. It's just the season changes and there is a next one and the next one. It just goes. We have so much problems with making the next step to another part of our life. It's like, oh my God, I'm getting older. I'm complaining about different things. How it would be to really graciously connecting with it. It's another part of my life. It has some difficulties for me probably, and yet it has some great things opening for the great things as well. And it's unavoidable. It's necessary so we can grow. So cycles is one of them. Also gestation, like the nature, when we put something into the ground, it takes as much time as it needs to grow. We just need to take care of the soil. We need to take care of the whether we put water on it and have enough sun for this plant to grow. If the plant grows itself, the nature takes care of that. But it takes as much time as it needs. And again, as humans, we like to make things so fast. We like to also slow them down because it is more convenient. So to me, nature is a very humble yet very powerful teacher about certain things. It's like everything around, like the circumstances around, are also great teacher of things to come that we cannot influence other by just being present and acknowledging them. So this is one aspect of the nature, just going quite maybe
Mhm.
superficially through it. And the next thing, which I think nature is a great teacher, nature is like a lakmus paper of how do we live, because nature tells us through different things, through um, cataclysms most of the time, whether we take care of it or not, whether we are living present with presence or we are neglecting very important things. So it's hugely important question because the nature is the mirror of how we live.
Wow.
we are
Well,
sometimes forgetting about it.
definitely. And I think, well, I would love to invite anyone who's listening to go to nature and observe. And maybe if they want to practice this presence, can be good to start by just observing nature, uh, being more in touch with our environment and learning from it.
I think the nature very gently brings you back to who you are, with very organic, beautiful power of silence, of natural voices, of the birds, of the wind. It really, like when people get tired, they go to the nature for climbing mountains, something like that, exactly for the purpose to come back to themselves
Yeah.
very often.
Yes. And I'm very much enjoying our conversation here in nature. It's the first episode actually that I have recorded in outside, and I'm loving it. So maybe I'll start doing it more because I feel there's a different energy.
And sometimes there are nice signals. The nature is telling certain things, like the birds are showing up or the weather is changing. So sometimes I do the coaching conversations in nature. So we go out and then the nature is talking to us and also giving their lessons. So it's a beautiful process to use it more.
Wow, that's very interesting. And thanks for sharing it with us and also for everything you shared about presence. Now, I want to tell you that at the end of our episode, we always ask 3 questions to all of our guests. So I would love to go to that last section of the episode if you're okay with that. And the first question is, what does extraordinary mean to you?
Extraordinary. Yeah, well, that's interesting. Because it means many things, many different things in many different moments, I guess. And the most extraordinary for me is being with someone that's really connected with themselves, because it is about being so aware to be in the moment that you just feel everything is right. Like, I know that there are so many different things that are extraordinary, like people achieving amazing things. And yet I see and sense sometimes that those extraordinary things were achieved by such an effort or such disgraceful own self that it's difficult for me to be enthusiastic about it. And the older I'm getting, the more extraordinary is to really respecting yourself and living from inside out, really respecting who you are and following your potential. And this is extraordinary to me. If everybody was following that, we would live in a much more peaceful and loving world. That's I'm sure of.
Yeah, wow, that's very inspiring. Thanks for sharing. Um, our second question is, if you were a billboard, where would you be and what would you say?
I saw this billboard. I saw actually very um new in technological sense billboard. The billboard that is not like a paper, but rather
Mhm.
something that is changing flash. That there is flashing with different words.
Yes.
And I saw I saw a few words, like first um pause, and it would be like a big flash, and then sense or connect, and then choose, and then just be yourself.
Wow.
Probably it would last a few seconds,
Yeah.
but I would like to be at the greatest places of the world, like, I don't know, like in the most busy and crowded places, and it's really huge. So it can make people stop for a moment and think, huh, is it really the life I'm having?
Mm.
The life it's mine. I think that our greatest drama is that most of the people is not living their lives. They are living the lives of the pendulum that has been created by the world. And it's because of a lack of presence.
Mm. Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's amazing. I love your billboard. I hope to see it somewhere soon.
Times Square.
Yeah.
Maybe some other equivalents of that in the other big cities.
Yeah.
Many of them.
We need them. And last question is, what is the book that you give more as a present?
There are two books actually that I really give as presents because I love those books so much. One is the book The Art of Presence by Thich Nhat Hanh. I don't know its exactly translation of
Mhm.
that book. He wrote a lot of books about presence, but this is a very tiny book, and we used to give away those books for many people. Just read it because it's so valuable. But there is one book that is especially for women, and it's called, and you might know that because it's in Spanish.
Okay.
Um, uh, the Woman Who Ran with the Wolves, by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. This is the book that has transformed my life. Literally, I read it a few times, but the first time I didn't understand it. It was too difficult. The
Okay.
second time it took me a moment. I just, the book touches the core of the human being and through presence, through awareness, through wisdom. And this is such a beautiful book for women to grow into femininity, but also the feminine part, but also into authenticity of, I think that men has probably equivalents of such books for them, but that was a book that I was giving away to many of my friends so they can connect more with themselves.
Okay, I will definitely explore it, and we'll put the resources for everyone who's listening so they can access the books and also have those amazing readings. And with that, we are at the end of our podcast, and I would love to know if there's something else you want to share. I just love our conversations. I don't want to close it, but yeah, it's been a great pleasure to have you. So thank you so much for everything that you've shared. And yeah, I'll just give you some space if you want to share something else. Yeah.
Yes, I thought that there is one thing that I didn't share through our conversation. Somehow we moved to other areas.
Mhm.
There are three questions that are part of transformational presence that are very important because they bring you to presence in a way. So sometimes when that's you ask me the question what to do when you want to be more present in the situations that are maybe demanding. Um, there are three questions that can bring us into presence quite, maybe not quickly, but definitely effectively.
Mhm.
The first question, like, what wants to happen? So that's a question like, what's in front of me? Then the second question, in that circumstances, who do I choose to be? I was talking about the question already. And then, what am I invited to do? And this is the order that really makes presence more alive in our life. What's in front of me? Who do I choose to be in front of that? And what am I asked to do based on my new choice? And this is like a mantra that can help
Yeah,
people bring themselves back to presence, no matter what happens.
yeah, that's a lovely mantra to ask ourselves, and yeah, just to be ourselves more and
Yeah,
to not forget to be present.
in connection with the world, because this is how we respond to the world, not react to the world.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks. I love to actually finish our episode with such strong ideas and invitations. So thank you so much, Joanna. It's been really a pleasure, and I hope we can have much more of these conversations together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I love the nature behind you and all that cheer, the birds chirping. It's really lovely to sit in nature and talk about presence.
Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you, Mom.